It's Reverend Larry here, and today we're back with I've all done these in a row, guys. So what I've done, well, yeah. Anyway, we're back with Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone audiobook, chapter 2, part 2, and yeah, as you can see, guys, I had this light, and I just thought we'll close over the curtains and put this on because it looks pretty cool. So yeah, but the light's still going through the curtains because yeah. But what I was going to say, guys, was when I say I upload them, I've uploaded all of these in the same day. What I do is I upload them and then I wait till they upload, so they're up on my channel, and then I delete the video I took, but not the video on the channel. It's hard to explain. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I've done these all in about a matter of like 4 hours. I'm going to try and get it finished today or tomorrow. But yeah, guys, so let's continue on with Ravenclaw fact, or the Ravenclaw common room. I'm just going to read the last sentence. Only those who answer correctly are granted entry to the common room. If they don't know the answer, they must wait for a fellow student to answer correctly. As frustrating as this may seem to students from other houses, Ravenclaw students don't mind. They value learning above all else. The test also acts as a deterrent to students from other houses wishing to access a common room that isn't theirs. Alright, guys, let's do this. Sorry guys, I'm just picking that off. Right, so chapter 2, part 2. But today, nothing was to go wrong. It was even worth being with Dudley and Piers to be spending... Oh, sorry, guys. Well, I'll just read this here. But today, nothing was to go wrong. It was even worth being with Dudley and Piers. And Piers to be spending days somewhere that wasn't school, his cupboard, or Mrs. Fig's cabbage-smelling living room. Let me just, pull this in a bit, because you may not be able to get my expression. It's for viewers' entertainment, not for me. Right, okay. There we go. Yep. So, while he drove, Uncle Vernon complained to Aunt Petunia. He liked to complain about things. People at work, Harry, the council, Harry, the bank, Harry, were just a few of his favourite subjects. This morning it was motorbikes. Roaring along like maniacs, the young hoodlums, he said as a motorbike overtook them. I had a dream about a motorbike, said Harry, remembering something. It was flying. Uncle Vernon nearly crashed into the car in front. He turned right round in his seat and yelled at Harry, his face like a gigantic beetroot with a moustache. Motorbikes don't fly! Dudley and Piers sniggered. I know they don't, said Harry. It was only a dream. But he wished he hadn't said anything. There was one thing Sir Dursley hated even more than his asking questions. It was his talking about anything acting in a way it shouldn't. No matter if it was a dream or even a cartoon, they seemed to think he might get dangerous ideas. It was a very sunny Saturday, and the zoo was crowded with families. The Dursleys bought Dudley and Piers large chocolate ice creams at the entrance, and then, because the smiling lady in the van had asked Harry what he wanted, before they could hurry him away, they bought him a cheap lemon ice lolly. It wasn't bad either, Harry thought, licking it as they watched a gorilla scratching its head and looking remarkably like Dudley, except that it wasn't blonde. Harry had the best morning he'd had in a long time. He was careful to walk a little way apart from the Dursleys, so that Dudley and Piers, who were starting to get bored with the animals by lunchtime, wouldn't fall back on their favourite hobby of hitting them. They ate in the zoo restaurant, and when Dudley had a tantrum because his knickerbocker glory wasn't big enough, Uncle Vernon bought him another one, and Harry was allowed to finish the start. Harry felt afterwards that he should have known it was all too good to last. After lunch, they went to the reptile house. It was cool and dark in here, with lit windows all along the walls. Behind the glass, all sorts of wizards All sorts of lizards and snakes were crawling and slithering over bits of wood and stone. Dudley and Piers wanted to see huge, poisonous cobras and thick, man-crushing pythons. Dudley quickly found the largest snake in the place. It could have wrapped its body around Uncle Vernon's car and crushed it into a dustbin, but at the moment it didn't look in the mood. In fact, it was fast asleep. Dudley stood with his nose pressed against the glass, staring at the glistening brown coils. "Make it move," he whined at his father. Uncle Vernon tapped on the glass, but the snake didn't budge. "Do it again," Dudley ordered. Uncle Vernon rapped the glass smartly with his knuckles, but the snake just snoozed on. "This is boring," Dudley moaned. He shuffled away. Harry moved in front of the tank and looked intently at the snake. He would have been surprised if it had died of boredom itself. No company except stupid people drumming their fingers in the glass, trying to disturb it all day long. It was worse than having a cupboard as a bedroom, where the only visitor was Aunt Petunia hammering on the door to wake you up. At least he got a visitor. At least he got to visit the rest of the house. The snake suddenly opened its beady eyes. Slowly, very slowly, it raised its head until its eyes were on a level with Harry's. It winked. Harry stared. Then he looked quickly around to see if anyone was watching. They weren't. He looked back at the snake and winked too. The snake jerked its head towards Uncle Vernon and Dudley, then raised its eyes to the ceiling. It gave Harry a look that said quite plainly, "I get that all the time." "I know," Harry murmured through the glass, though he wasn't sure the snake could hear him. "It must be really annoying." The snake nodded vigorously. "Where do you come from anyway?" Harry asked. The snake jabbed its tail at a little sign next to the glass. Harry peered at it. "Boa Constrictor, Brazil." "Was it nice there?" The boa constrictor jabbed its tail at the sign again, and Harry read on. This specimen was bred in the zoo. Oh, I see. So you've never been to Brazil?" As the snake shook its head, a deafening shout behind Harry made both of them jump. "Dudley, Mr. Dursley, come and look at this snake. You won't believe what it's doing." Dudley came waddling towards him as fast as he could. "Out of the way, you," he said, punching Harry in the ribs. Caught by surprise, Harry fell hard onto the concrete floor. What came next happened so fast, no one saw it happened. No one saw how it happened. 1 second, Piers and Dudley were leaning right up close to the glass. The next, they'd leapt back with howls of horror. Harry shot up and gasped. The glass front of the boa constrictor's tank had vanished. The great snake was uncoiling itself rapidly, slithering out onto the floor. People throughout the reptile house screamed and started running for the exits. As the snakes slid swiftly past him, Harry could have sworn a low hissing voice said, "Brazil, here I come. Thanks, amigo." The keeper of the reptile house was in shock. "But the glass," he kept saying. "Where did the glass go?" The zoo director himself made Aunt Petunia a cup of strong sweet tea while he apologised over and over again. Piers and Dudley could only gibber. As far as Harry had seen, the snake hadn't done anything except snap playfully at their heels as it passed. But by the time they were all back in the car, but all back in Uncle Vernon's car, Dudley was telling them how they had nearly bitten off its leg, while Piers was swearing it had tried to squeeze him to death. But worst of all, for Harry at least, was Piers calming down enough to say, "Harry was talking to us, weren't you, Harry?" Uncle Vernon waited until Piers was safely out of the house before starting on Harry. He was so angry he could hardly speak. He managed to say, "Go, cupboard, stay, no meals," before he collapsed into a chair, and Aunt Petunia had to run and get him a large brandy. Harry lay in his dark cupboard much later, wishing he had a watch. He didn't know what time it was, and he couldn't be sure that the Dursleys were asleep yet. Until they were, he couldn't risk sneaking down to the kitchen to grab some food. He'd lived with the Dursleys almost 10 years. 10 miserable long years. And as long as he could remember, ever since he'd been a baby and his parents had died in that car crash, he couldn't remember being in the car when his parents had died. Sometimes when he strained his memory during long hours in his cupboard, he came up with a strange vision, a blinding flash of green light and a burning pain in his forehead. This, he supposed, was the crash, though he couldn't imagine where all the green light came from. He couldn't remember his parents at all. His aunt and uncle never spoke about them, and of course he was forbidden to ask questions. There were no photographs of them in the house. Sorry guys, I just got a dry throat. I've been speaking so much today, just reading it out. Anyway, you may hear the football in the background. It's 2018 World Cup. So yeah, it's Peru and Denmark, I think, playing. Anyway, back into the video. I can't even see how much. Oh, 11 minutes in, okay. We're actually nearly done. Deadly. When he had been younger, Harry had dreamed and dreamed of some unknown relation coming to take him away. But it had never happened. The Dursleys were his only family. Sometimes he thought, or maybe hoped, that strangers in the street seemed to know him. Very strange strangers they seemed too. A tiny man in a violet top hat and bowed to him once while out shopping with Aunt Petunia and Dudley. After asking Harry furiously if he knew the man, Aunt Petunia rushed him out of the shop without buying anything. A wild-looking old woman, dressed all in green, had waved merrily at him once on the bus. A bald man in a very long purple coat had actually shaken his hand in the street the other day, and then walked away without a word. The weirdest thing about all these people was the way they seemed to vanish the second Harry tried to get a closer look. At school, Harry had no one. Everybody knew that Dudley's gang hated that odd Harry Potter in his baggy old clothes and broken glasses, and nobody liked to disagree with Dudley's gang. That's the end of chapter 2, guys. That may have been a smaller, not a smaller video. What am I saying? A less thing video than the other ones. It's a shorter video than the other ones. I think. I hope you enjoyed it Anyway, I didn't actually look at the camera that much. Sorry about that, guys. Let me know if you want to keep this light as well. Keep me down. Tell me in the comments. But yeah, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Peace. Check out my other videos.